Oh my God. That was a painful fourth quarter. Holy crap. That was rough. Woo. That was a rough one, man. Stinks losing to that team, and it stinks getting curb stomped in the fourth quarter because it really did feel like things were turning around. You would take in momentum back, about to get a field goal to take the lead in this thing, and then just the bottom dropped out. It was unbelievably bad how much that fell apart and how the train came off the tracks for the Miami Dolphins. Very, very strange game today, obviously. It's one of these where, you know, I don't want to sit here and do moral victories or anything like that. I'm not that type of guy. Jets kicked your ass. They're now moving atop you in the standings, which sucks. You were in first place 2 weeks ago. Now you're technically in third place. And, you know, that's not a time where anybody wants to hear about, this. I'm not trying to sound like Bills fans out here who like to use every excuse under the sun. But, you know, the main players aren't exactly in the game with this one, as opposed to, you know, whining about like some safeties or something like that. The Dolphins go out there today and they lose Teddy Bridgewater right out of the gate, safety, and he ends up leaving for a concussion evaluation, passes the evaluation, doesn't have any symptoms of a concussion, but now because of this new rule, they have a spotter in the crowd, saw Teddy stumble, and he has to be pulled. So the Dolphins have gotten really raked over the coals here with this whole concussion thing over the last 3 weeks of this season. It's been a pretty rough go of it. And, you know, I'm seeing a lot of people very mad at the defense for the performance today, and a lot of people are saying the defense didn't live up to snuff. I honestly think that, you know, you could only ask the defense to come and bail you out so many times. And while they weren't fantastic by any means, you know, he didn't get lit up by Zach Wilson. He threw for 210 yards. Breece Hall went out there and he was really, really good today. I mean, that guy was a monster on both ends of it. Basically he had half of their receiving production and he ran for nearly 100 yards. So that dude was an absolute menace and killed the Miami Dolphins. But, you know, I thought that we're talking about a game where they were holding pretty strong. I mean, if you get to the fourth quarter and your defense puts you in a position to have the lead, you know, we're talking they gave up 19 points by, you know, the end of the third quarter. You have a chance to take the lead early in the fourth quarter. And then just all hell broke loose, you know, and that's really, I don't know if it's a matter of them gassing. I don't know if that's a matter of them going out there and it's just been too much for this team to withstand. You know, you didn't have your best player on defense today in Xavier Howard. But it was look, I know everybody was excited about his preseason, and I don't want to blame the game on Skylar Thompson because he's a third string quarterback. He's an undrafted rookie. But he was awful. I mean, he was terrible this debut for him. It was disastrous. And it made me feel like that guy right there is not good enough to have a roster spot, to be honest with you. And it was funny because everybody's like, oh, maybe we should start him. You know, as with Teddy Bridgewater being out. And, you know, maybe. I mean, Teddy, maybe when you saw those first couple plays by Teddy, but this is the reason it's important to have a guy like Teddy Bridgewater because experience is a big deal in the NFL. It is. And Teddy Bridgewater is decent, and that's what you need in that position. You need decent because in situations like this where you don't have quarterbacks and, you know, every team in the division other than the Bills have had to play two quarterbacks so far this year. You know, the Jets, they have Joe Flacco. Old as hell, but decent. The Patriots got what's his face, old Zappy, and behind him they had Brian Hoyer, who's been there for 40 years. You know, having that inexperience for Skylar Thompson, like it was so noticeable. Like it was a disaster early on. Like he loses his play cards, they have to call timeout, they have to like get him his playbook to figure things out. He just looked like a deer in headlights today, and I just think that you just had no shot with him. And I really thought that the offense that Mike McDaniel was running, knowing how inexperienced he was, and them getting that touchdown at the end of the half. I was so impressed with the play calling, with the run game finally getting going. Raheem Mostert having by far his best game as a Miami Dolphin today. He was really, really awesome. And they were really, he was relying on what he had in this team of faith. I mean, Tyreek Hill had 7 catches today, didn't crack 50 yards. I don't know when the last time that's happened in his career, but he was, and some of the passes that he ripped away an interception. He, the only play that really worked for Skylar Thompson today was he was able to get like 3 pass interference calls. So it was a mess, dude. Like, yeah, you put up a 40 spot. Everybody's going to say defense. How could you? And it's like, yeah, it got really bad there at the end. But, also, like, let's not forget, Skylar Thompson was sacked and fumbled the ball. And Quinnen Williams nearly ran over, or did actually run over Tyreek Hill, nearly murdered him, and put the ball at the 1-yard line. They had great field position on the missed field goal. By the time they had the sack fumble, it was kind of all she wrote at that point. And, it sucks that Braxton Berrios came and stuck it in you with a 40 piece there at the end. But, for me, I look at this and I'm just like, man, the defense, 40 spot never looks good, but they were playing with half a team today. I mean, that's the case of it. They were out there with a guy who was ill fit to be an NFL quarterback. He's just, not to be a dick about it, but there's a reason the guy was a 7th round pick, and the guys he lit up were guys who are going to be playing in the XFL later this year. It's the fact. Like, he played against the Tampa Bay Bucks, who had like 90 inactive guys, and is lighting up in the last preseason game. And yeah, he looked better than Teddy Bridgewater in the preseason, but he's not better than Teddy Bridgewater. And the guy has a long, long way to go. Maybe he'll become that. I certainly thinks like he looks like he's got some arm talent, but his pocket awareness wasn't there. Like, he looked like a rookie. So I don't want to be a jerk who is blaming the game on Skylar Thompson. I'm just saying the fact of I'm not going to put it just on the defense for losing the game. It was an all-around loss. Like, the defense did have some dumb stuff that went down. Like, I thought they were a bit more, and then, they had like 90 face mask penalties. It was a very undisciplined game by Miami. Lot of costly penalties that hurt them. But the Jets had a lot of penalties too. It wasn't a very clean football game. I think the thing that's just frustrating about it is, even with having the 3rd string quarterback there, you were going blow for blow with him, and then all of a sudden the wheels just came off there at the end, and it was like watching a train wreck happen with how swift it was. And honestly, I really hope that this is going to be interesting to see what happens, because now you have literally 2 players in concussion protocol with, 2 quarterbacks in concussion protocol, more than 3 players in protocol right now, technically. But I'm curious to see, what does this mean for Teddy being able to play? Because you're taking on a Vikings team that's obviously loaded with a lot of talent and is, I think 4-1 to start the year so far right now. So, all this talk of, the schedule is going to really lighten up. You never quite know what it's going to be by the time this comes around, which is the fun of That's a Win, That's a Loss, by the way. That's why you like guessing without having to know. That's the fun of it. But seriously, the Vikings are going to be a big challenge coming in, and I don't know what the early line is of that game, but I would imagine if Tua doesn't play, I imagine they're going to be favorites. I don't know when that decision comes down. They did find, we talked about this on the video yesterday, that the Dolphins were found of doing nothing wrong, but they did change protocols. So does this trickle down to he has to be uberly cleared to be allowed to play? I don't know. They were saying on CBS that he was texting with Mike McDaniel and he's really missing playing. And so I don't know. They're definitely not going to go with Tua, because I think that's probably a big reason why he played banged up on Thursday night in the first place with his back. So I don't know what the right time is for him to get out there. But I tell you this, for all the crap this guy takes, for all of the criticisms Tua Tagovailoa takes, they don't win a lot of football games without him. They don't. I mean, they were horrible without him last year. They don't look competent without him this year. And, maybe people don't think he's the most dazzling quarterback in the world. But I tell you what, man, that dude's record is good. And they seem to have a lot more success with him in the huddle than they do without. And right now, this team is scrambling. Like I mentioned that I thought this was an important game to get because, Thursday night, 3-1, okay. Disaster struck, Tua got hurt. You'll accept it. Bengals are a good team. They're talented. They were in the Super Bowl last year. You live with it even though you had an opportunity to win. This was the first time really the game wasn't held in the balance. You guess you had an opportunity to win technically at the start of the fourth quarter, but then it all unraveled on you, and you really couldn't sink your way. You really couldn't get your way out of trouble by then. And you already had a big hole that you had to get out once from this one. So they really got behind the 8 ball quick in this one and still had an opportunity to take the lead in the fourth quarter. But, you can only, if you're not playing well, you can only take so many, screw ups before it's gonna completely go to hell for you. And so, yeah, man, they need their quarterback back. They do. They need Tua back. This is a team right now that looks like they're going into this Vikings week. They probably Teron Armstead went down today, and the line, the line got chewed up, and certainly Skylar took a lot of hits. I mean, he took a lot of lickings. He's got the pocket awareness of a field mouse right now, and dude, I mean, dude got lit up. Dude got lit up on a bunch of plays, even only getting sacked a couple times. He took a lot of big hits. One point he got his arm hit on the interception. That was a tough one. He had this one play. He had the one throw to where he was running for his life and just heaved it up like a half throw, and Jalen Waddle had to make this incredible diving catch to go get the ball to get a first down. Yeah, he wasn't very impressive, man. I really the Dolphins. The Dolphins, I really think to have a chance against the Vikings are going to need. They're certainly going to need Teddy Bridgewater at least. I think. I don't think Skylar Thompson looks ready to help them win. And maybe it'll be a better week because he's got a week of prep. So maybe people will give him the benefit of the doubt there. I just think that he just doesn't look prepared at all. I don't think he's at that level yet. And I honestly think, he had a tremendous preseason and so good that they had to give him a roster spot because they were worried he was going to get plucked. Turns out it's not Skylar's the limit. It's Skylar's the limited. That's what he is. He's just limited right now in what he could do. And, God, I miss Tua so much. I really do. I just miss him. I miss his face. I miss him playing. I miss bombs. I miss explosive play. It was the best 3 weeks. Was it not the best 3 weeks? Did everybody not just have the most fun? It was the best. It was the best. He was the best. I miss it so much. It's like you gave me the most incredible football, the most fun football we haven't had down here in I don't know how long. Explosive plays and bombs and Cheetah and Waddle. And by the way, you Michael Carter, you rat bastard, going out there and you do the Waddle. Nobody does the Waddle, okay? This is not going to be a thing like the upside down U when the Hurricanes play, okay? I will not have other team. If I see another guy out there do the Waddle, I want a bounty on that guy. I want him. I want his hip taken out so he is unable to waddle. Joking, of course. Joking. I'm joking, everybody. Relax. Having some fun. Don't you ever waddle again. Nobody waddles except for Waddle. Okay? Nobody. And by the way, Jason Sanders, dude, I mean, this is as clear a case of fat cat syndrome. I haven't had since he got the bag, dude. I got no faith in the guy. I really don't. He was amazing coming up. Never missed a kick. But I tell you what, ever since they paid his ass, I'm just like, oh boy. Let's see. I was thinking to myself, man, I don't feel good about this kick. And sure enough, you got to ride the wind, dude. Everybody knows that. You got to own the wind as a kicker. All right. You need to harness the wind. All right. You can't be out here like a kite, willy-nilly. You got to be a stone in the wind. You got to stay right there. Frustrating. Grabbing face masks all over the place, willy-nilly. Third-string quarterback out here. Awful. Stupid Jets. And then, by the way, doing the elevator. I think they're so cute with their little elevator picture. Hate them so much. Anyway, hopefully a better week ahead.